Hi, everyone. Welcome to Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. For all you out there, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. Hit the like button, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will definitely chat back. Tonight, you're in for a really beautiful treat. And the treat is I have a young lady that wrote a book about adoption and her family. We're going to speak with her mom and dad. We're going to get a chance to speak with her. If you ever thought about adoption, was thinking about adoption, contemplating adoption, you would want to hear this story. I mean, it's based, I mean, not based on, but the young lady, like their daughter, wrote a book, and the book is called From Morphine to Majesty. And there it is, there's the book. And we are going to give away one of these books today. So, get in there in the chat. So come through in the chat. I'm just checking some things here. Come through in the chat, and like I said, definitely you're going to enjoy this conversation, and we will be giving away one of these books today. So I am going to bring in, and actually, I'm sorry, let me back up. The young lady that wrote the book is Corinne Scott, and I'm going to bring up her parents, the Scotts, and you're going to enjoy having a conversation with them. So welcome to my platform. Thank you guys for coming on Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. You are officially part of the Gray Tribe, so welcome. I really appreciate you coming on and having this conversation with me. So your beautiful daughter, Corinne, wrote a book called From Morphine to Majesty.
Yes.
We're going to get into the book and talk about that. And the book is her story of adoption. Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into that. But first, I want to hear a little bit about you guys. OK, tell us about y'all two as a couple. And you can tell us when you met too and how long you've been married.
Well, we met back in 2001. It was not long after I lost my son. And I was in a pretty dark place, but still believe in God for great things in my life. And then someone set me up, one of the ministers from the church set me up with a blind date. And immediately I was like, no, I don't want a blind date. He said he was saved to love God. And a lot of guys say that. They don't really mean it. So
that's the door, right?
That's how they do it.
I'm saved and I love God.
If you really, really love God, then our first date will be at the church. It will stop the funeral at the cathedral. And I brought my mother, and half my people that I loved at the cathedral were there. And that was our very first date. He came to the church for Stop the Funeral.
Oh, and, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
For the play. It's a play, everyone. With a play. Stop the Funeral. Yes. Okay.
By Bishop Donald Hilliard. And it was a play at the church. And I had to see if he really loved God. Then our first date won't be dinner and movies. It'll be the play at the church.
Right.
And he had a great time, and we've been together ever since.
Wow. Okay, so he was telling the truth. Truly love God. All right. That's a great story. So, that's a story in and of itself, Sharon. So they set you up on a blind date that actually worked. Some people have horror stories with their blind dates, but yours turned out to be a beautiful story of how long you've been married.
19 years.
19 years, people. So blind dates can work, okay? So tap into your friends if you're single. They may have somebody to hook you up with. That's truly a good person.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks for sharing that, Sharon. And I know you mentioned and you shared that you lost your son, and I know you, so we don't have to get into that story, but thanks for sharing and feeling comfortable to share. All right, so continue on there. Okay, so you met via a blind date.
Mhm.
It worked. Somebody
Yeah.
set you up.
Yeah.
How long did you date before you got married?
I would say about
A year.
about a year. Yes,
A
I think
year.
it was. I proposed to her on October the 12th. I still remember October the 12th at a place called. It was right in Ocean Township, and I got down on my knees and I proposed to her.
He did.
Nice.
Yeah,
He
I
did.
almost need to help up, but I did
Because we were not young people.
Okay, well, hey, listen. Oh, listen. This is very inspirational to people. I mean, because y'all met later in life,
Mhm.
okay, and then y'all dated for like a year. Oh,
Mhm.
Nancy said, "You go, Kevin." You dated for almost a year, and then you did a traditional. You got down on your knees and you proposed. That's just a beautiful thing. So you proposed. You got engaged.
Yeah,
Later on, you got married,
yeah.
and tell us more of the story. So tell us, once you got married, when did you make the decision that y'all wanted to start a family?
Immediately. We
Oh,
knew
really?
we were not young people, but we wanted to have children. We wanted to have a family. So we immediately started trying to have children. And I had miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. We
Wow.
actually had three miscarriages. We've gotten as far as being in the second trimester. We've had appointments where we heard the baby's heartbeat. Kevin had a picture of the baby. He would wear it in his lapel jacket in his shirt pocket and keep it with him all the time. And we lost all three. And it was a time after time after time. So we didn't understand what was going on. We went to a fertility specialist. We started infertility treatments. That was a job all by itself, getting blood
Mhm.
work and this test and that test. I got tested, he got tested. We would have to check when I was ovulating. And then that kind of killed the fun of making a baby because we would have like, the doctor said I got 1 hour. So he would have to come home at lunch. I got 1 hour
Come on now.
right now. And then I'd have to run the little container wrapped in the towel all warm, rush it to the doctor's office, and they would do
Wow.
what they needed to do. And then I'd have to come back an hour later to get inseminated with this thing that looked like a turkey baster. It was so much mentally and emotionally to go through. And then still nothing. I would get pregnant and lose the baby all over again. That's
Wow.
when the doctor had mentioned to us, we could continue to do this. It's going to be more stressful on you. But have you ever considered adopting? And I thought, well, no, we didn't, but that's a thought. So then I talked to Kevin and said, you know, what do you think about adopting? Like, would that even be an option for us?
right. Yeah, and I know I was a year older than Sharon, so that did play a big process. I mean, a big part in trying to have children. Being 40, not saying it couldn't happen, because with God, all things are possible.
Right.
So I know when we trying to have children, with me having to do what I had to do, did anything to make us have children, but unfortunately, it didn't pan out the
Didn't
way.
work out.
So, but thank God for what we have now.
So then we started the process of adoption. I said, let me check into it. So this is how good God is. Kevin meets me on first date at the cathedral. There is a couple at the cathedral, the Gadsons, who had adopted a daughter through an agency called Harvest of Hope, which is under
Mm.
Buster Soros,
Oh,
Bishop Soros,
oh, okay.
Buster Soros, the Forest Soros, Bishop Soros, out in Franklin,
Somerset?
Yes,
Somerset,
yes.
Somerset. He had an
Hmm.
agency that was doing adoptions. So
Wow.
we decided to contact them. And quietly, without anyone knowing, we would leave every Saturday morning and head to Newark to go get trained for 4 to 5 hours a day on Saturday. And then we come back home and we would have to do this for a little more than a month. And then they had to come and see our home. So then they would come to our home. They would measure our windows and make sure we have fire extinguishers and everything. And then they connected us to DIFAS. At the time, it was DIFAS. Now it's DCP&P. And in
Okay.
connecting us to them, they were the source of getting the children. But Harvest of Hope had an agent for us that always made sure that DCP&P did the right thing and brought the right children and made sure that everything was running correctly for us to be able to adopt. And
Nice.
so we went through them. They called us one day and said, we have a little boy. And I was so excited. I called Kevin. They got a little boy. So we're rushing home. I fixed the room. We're all ready. And I wait for them to come and they call and say, sorry, they gave the baby to a family member. So now I'm totally disgusted. This is just not going to work for me. The next day they call and say, we have a little girl. So now I'm not as excited as I was.
Right.
So, yeah. Who's the little girl? So they tell me about this little girl, and she was in a hospital for 8 weeks. She was on cocaine and heroin, and they had to wean her off by giving her morphine and phenobarbital. And she moaned herself through most of that time. She cried herself through it. And wanted me, they wanted to know if Kevin and I would be interested. So I told Kevin, and we were a little hesitant because we weren't sure if we were really going to get this baby or not. But sure enough, they said, we're on our way. So
wow.
Yes. I got so excited. I couldn't even wait for them to get to the house. I met them off the turnpike at a Wawa. I told them, I can't wait for you to get to my house. We're not going to wait. I'm going to meet you at the Wawa right off the exit of the turnpike. And we'll lead you in. I used the excuse of, it's hard to find our house, so we'll lead you in. But by the time we got there, I jumped out the car and I wanted to see her. She was only 8 pounds. Even after all that time, she was slumped over and she was in a little boy's clothes. Because we don't think about this, but when we have our children, we have clothes for them. We bring clothes for them. She didn't have anybody to bring clothes for her because as soon as she was born, her biological mother immediately had to, once she was healed up, left. So a doctor that had been caring for her had a baby, but had a little boy. So she put Corinne in the little boy's clothes. So she's on all these little boys' clothes. Well, as soon as I got her to my house, which we were so excited, I carried her in. I immediately took her out all the clothes.
You said, get my baby out these boy clothes.
Yeah, get my baby girl out these clothes and put her in these little girl clothes. I was so excited. But I had not told our families yet that we were adopting because it kind of happened quicker than we thought it was going to happen.
Okay.
So that evening, I called my mother and said, Mom, guess what? And she said, what? I said, we have a little girl. She said, what are you talking about? I said, well, Kevin and I went to classes and we have a little girl that we're in the process of adopting. She's in that stage of adopting her. And she couldn't believe it, but it was a bad snowy day. So we had to wait till the next day to bring her. My family had bags of clothes and gifts and everything for her. It was beautiful. Wow. And then we called Kevin's mother and told her they too have bags of clothes and all these beautiful gifts for her. It was just beautiful to see them embrace her in that way. You couldn't have told me that little girl wasn't mine. But she came with one name and we already had a name picked out because we have been trying to have babies. We've been trying to have babies. So we already had a name picked out. So all we needed was the kid to go with the name.
Right.
And I always liked the name Corinne, but I gave her a K after Kevin. And I gave her the middle name Elise, which was Bishop's mother's name. I thought that was such a beautiful name. Mm-hmm. And named her Elise after my son, AJ, after Elton. So she's Corinne Elise Scott. She's our heart. She's our love. You can't tell me that I didn't have 16 hours of labor giving birth to that baby. That's my child, girl. That's my child.
Beautiful story.
Well, if I could say, the process was definitely stressful and very long, but the process was definitely worth it. Because we were blessed with 2 beautiful children in the process. I was just, and I was so happy. I never had kids before, so I was like a kid in a candy store. Like, oh my God, Like you can't tell me nothing now, boy. I'm like, my goodness, like what's going on here? Wow. But I'm just overwhelmed with what God has done
Yeah.
from where He brought me from to where because when I met, like I said, when I met Sharon, I come past the cathedral to get her, then come back up to the cathedral. So it was
Just to drive us to church.
to drive on the
He
church.
didn't have to do that. We could have met him at the
Wait,
church.
wait, I missed that because you broke up a little bit. Say that piece to me again.
Kevin would drive. He lived in Piscataway. He would drive past
Um,
her fanboy to come down to Tinton Falls to pick me and my mother up to drive us back
back to the church.
up.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
He
Wow.
was trying hard, girl. He was trying
Yeah, yeah. But you
hard.
know what? Nothing wrong with that. Look at here, 19 years later. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
story.
But
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
so wonderful.
but the whole big process, I beat my beautiful wife, beautiful daughter, and our handsome son. God has really done a marvelous thing because I had to love Kevin first before I loved anybody else, and then God has brought me from a huge um, addiction to have a beautiful wife, but she didn't really want to be bothered with nobody at the time after she lost her son. And I was trying to kick every door down and everything, just trying to get to her. But God really blessed me, and I'm very grateful for what I have.
And then during our adoption, it takes 2 years. The process does take about 2 years from the time the child enters your home and a DCP&P comes to visit, and whatever agency you're working with, they come to visit all the time. They're always checking to make sure everything's all right. There's always court appearances that you don't go to, but the agency always goes to represent us and everything. It took about 2 years for us to finally get a court date to actually change her name from what they named her at birth to the
Yeah.
name that we gave her. And it took 2 years, but it was worth it. And then after we adopted her, a year after my son came, he was 4 years old. Corinne was already almost 2. He was 4 years old, and he came around the corner, girl. The first time I ever saw him, he looked just like Kevin. I thought, oh
Yes,
my
he
God,
does.
I
Yes,
think
he
my
does.
husband has to explain something here. This little little
Yeah,
this
me
little
too.
brown skinned boy
Yeah, me
with his
too.
little
Yeah.
egg head was looking like my husband. And I just fell in love with him. As soon as he came around the corner to meet me, he immediately sat in my lap and had a
Oh,
book in his hand and asked me to read it to him. I just fell in love. That was all it was. And it took
what-
2 years for him too.
so no matter what, the adoption process takes 2 years.
Yeah, it takes approximately. It's a little less than 2, but it takes about 2 years because they want to make sure this is what you really want. They have you speak to different doctors. They do a psych evaluation just to make sure you're able
Right,
to do this. You really want to do this. They don't want to put children in homes and then parents change their minds or anything like that.
And,
right.
and you have to be honest with it because if you're not honest, things will come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
If you're not honest about going through the whole process, so you have to make sure all your I's and T's are dotted and crossed through the whole process, no matter what.
It wasn't easy, but it was worth it.
It was
was
worth
so
it.
worth it.
Every bit
Every
of it.
bit of it. I would do it all over again if I had to, just to have
Mm.
my kids. There was no way I wouldn't do it again. It
So,
was the hardest, best blessing God gave
um,
me. It really was.
well, it's a blessing that y'all adopted.
Yes.
And I hope your story changes people's mind that are thinking about adoption, or maybe they never thought about adoption. So tell us a little bit too, if you what you know of, Sharon, about maybe how many children are out there like that are waiting to be adopted. Did they ever call y'all to say, do y'all want some more children?
They did. They were calling us all the time. There are like about 200,000 kids in the state of New Jersey that need forever homes. And they're aging out. As the kids get older, they age out of the system. And that's, to me, it's just so heartbreaking because they're not really ever getting anybody that will love them or care for them. They're giving them money to help them with a deposit on a place. They try to help them find a little apartment. They give them a bus pass, and give them a couple of $1,000s for them to be able to eat and get little little things they may need for their place if they could find a place. But they really age out of the program with nobody ever really truly loving them. And as we talked before, we sit there and discuss where we want to go for Christmas. These
Hmm.
kids would just love to have one place to go for Christmas. When we're sitting there to saying, well, the family come to my house or the family go to your house, they just want somebody's house to love them. And I'm praying more people will want to adopt because it's not their fault that they're in this system. It's not their fault that they don't have, parents that care about them. Unfortunately, they got dealt the hardest hand ever by not having parents that love them or care about them or care more about the drugs or care more about their lifestyles rather than caring about the children they gave birth to. And it's really sad, and it breaks my heart. If I could have adopted more,
Oh
I
no.
I would have got if I had the money to have a mansion and back up a bus, I would have I'd have took on a whole bunch of kids. But I couldn't feasibly do that. But I'm praying more people will adopt because I know people want babies, and I happen to get a baby, but then I also got a 4.5-year-old. So
Right.
but even with the baby, she came with addiction and she was very ill and very sick. And Corinne moaned for like the first 4 years of her life in her sleep. And
Wow.
I asked the doctor, why does she moan? She moans so loud. Like, I wouldn't even want her to spend the night at anybody's house. She moans so loud. And the doctor said that's her comfort, like a blankie. That's how she got herself through all that pain when she's
Wow.
going through withdrawal like an adult. So they all have a story. They all have a problem. They all have issues. But love surely can conquer a lot of things. And if you could love up on your natural birth children when they have their sicknesses and they have their problems, you can love up on these children that you're adopting. They're yours. And Corinne looks just like my mother's side of the family, So God has a way of being funny, like
Yes.
like my,
Yes.
how they would say your babies look like the person that aggravated you when you were pregnant. My mother used to nitpick at me all the time about what are you going to do about this and what are you going to do about that, and now I have a little girl that looks like her side of the family. So
Wow. So you got Corinne, you said he was already 4.5.
yeah.
Um, so did his biological parents ever try to intervene and come back?
Yes, even
Mm.
Corinne's biological families, but Corinne's father, whose last name happened to be Scott. See,
Oh
God's
my
funny.
God. Are
God
you
is funny.
serious? Yes.
His last name was Scott, but she went by her mother's last name. And
Okay.
he at one point realized he couldn't take care of her. So he
Okay.
actually signed his rights over to us and told us, thank you for taking care of us. He sent me a note and said, thank you. And appreciated that we even took her on and that we loved her like our own. And he could tell because one time I had to let her go visit him at the halfway house. That was the hardest day, girl. I cried all
Mm.
the way as they drove off. And I went rushing to the car to get her out of there as soon as she got back. That was hard. And there
You
are
know
some
what? God bless him though, right? Because he did a very beautiful thing. I'm
very
sure it wasn't
unselfish.
easy for him to do. Yes, I'm sure it wasn't easy for him to do that, but something touched his heart, and
Yeah,
for him to write a note and say thank you. Oh my God, that's like touching me right now. That's
yeah,
just really nice and really beautiful, and that was very big of him.
it was.
To say, you know what? I know I can't do this right now. So thank God for y'all, and y'all stepped in and that y'all doing it. So that's a beautiful thing. And
Yeah,
and so for Kareem, so that's funny because he came with his name K. That was God
he
sent,
did.
right?
He came
Because
with a K.
y'all got the K thing going on over there.
When they told me his name was Kareem with a K, I thought, oh my gosh, no way. But
Wow.
we told him he could pick his own middle name, and he did.
Hmm.
He picked
Wow.
Anthony. Yeah, so he picked it. That's his choice. And
Okay.
it's on the birth certificate, and he's proud of himself for naming himself like that. Even to this day, he's like, I named myself. Like, yeah, you did. You named yourself. So
Okay.
we're very proud of him. Yeah,
Nice. So when Kareem came to you, he was 4, but he knew, right? That he was going to a special
yeah,
family that
yeah,
selected him.
yeah.
But Kareem was a baby.
Right.
So how did you tell her?
I waited until she was a little bit older. She always watched little cartoons with mommies had babies. And I explained to her real gently when she must have been 3. I said, you didn't come from mommy's belly like everybody else. You came from mommy's heart. And I prayed for you. And then I put her hand on my heart. And I said, you mean so much to me. I love you so much. And at 3, she was just thrilled that I just loved her so much like that. But as she
Right.
got older, I had to introduce her more to the fact that she was adopted, that she didn't come from my belly. I gave her, and I explained it in a way that was age appropriate. So as she got a little
Okay.
older, I just reminded her more she came from my heart, not my belly. And then as she got even older, I explained what really happened. She's old enough now that I have completely explained to both my children how they got adopted, why they were adopted. They know their birth parents' names, they know all the information about them, siblings, and maybe things like that. And I've also looked them up on social media to show them pictures of who they look like and where they're coming from. And because of it, and because I've been so open and honest with them, I don't hide anything. They
Right.
don't have that curiosity of, I wonder who I look like, and I wonder, they don't have that desire to go chase down birth families or anything like that. It's always been an open discussion. It's always been an honest conversation. She knows about her cocaine and heroin. She knew about everything. And she even knew we have a little bunny rabbit. It's in the book that a nurse gave it to her. A nurse gave her
Oh,
that little bunny, and
okay.
it said a prayer. And she will put it in with her every day. We still have that bunny. And I told her where that bunny came from. She used to walk around with it all the time. She loved it. But as she got
Okay.
older, I explained how very special that bunny was. That a nurse gave it to her from the hospital that
Wow.
prayed for her because of all she was going through in the hospital.
Oh.
And
Well,
she,
God bless. Well,
yeah,
let me just show if I can everybody a
that's
quick
the
picture.
bunny.
That's the
That's the
bunny.
bunny. And the bunny
And
said a prayer. Yes.
yes, and the artist, just so everyone knows, is Corinne herself. Isn't that's amazing right there? Let me try to show it again there.
Yeah.
And so, God bless that nurse too. That, hey Marcella, thanks for joining. God bless that nurse also that, gave her this bunny and that prayed for her.
Mhm.
Because here's the thing too, I will say this, we'll talk a little bit about addiction, right?
Mhm.
It's something that the person, I'm sure themselves, they don't want to be that way, but
Yeah.
the addiction has control over them,
Yes, it
right?
does.
And to the point where it's so sad, like, you have another human being in your body
Mhm.
and you still ingest this, and
Yes.
now your baby comes out addicted.
Yes.
And so, in order to wean the baby off, they have to give the baby some type of drugs, and that's where you
Right.
said they gave the morphine and the phenobarbital,
Yeah.
in order to like wean her off of the drugs,
Yes.
because as she was in her biological mother's belly,
Mhm.
that's what the baby was feeding off of whatever the mother was ingesting.
Yes.
So, thank God to all the doctors and the nurses and,
Yes.
everyone that prayed for her. And she was meant to come to y'all. She was
She
meant to come to
was.
y'all.
Yes, she
She's a
was.
miracle baby. Anybody that has to go through withdrawal for 8 weeks like an adult as a little tiny
Yeah.
little baby weighing, only 7, 8 pounds, that's a lot on a baby. So
Mhm.
she's a miracle child. And we're very grateful. She calls us mom and dad. Very
Yeah.
grateful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the other piece of this story is, you found a way, Sharon. I don't know how you did it, because when I watch a lot of stories about adoption, um, people don't know when to tell the child, right? It like if they had them from birth, it's just like, when do you tell them? And then time goes by and you're like, okay, you should have told them already. And it becomes like a devastating
Yeah.
situation. And I think it feeds into what you said, is now they have this curiosity where they want to know about the biological family, because they feel a little lost.
Right.
Um, but you were fortunate, and that's a story in and of itself too, that you started the process early, like you was
Yes.
planting the seed. They say, mommy, you didn't come
Yeah.
from mommy's
Yeah.
belly. You came
Yeah.
from our heart.
Mhm.
You came with love.
Mhm.
So that's a good lesson for all the parents out there that do adopt,
Yeah.
and they adopt from a baby.
Yes.
Because I'm sure it's hard for them to find a way, like, how do I tell my child? Because it's your
Right.
child, right? How do you tell your child that
Yeah.
you mine, but I didn't give birth to you?
They love
Um,
you either way, though. They love you either way. And I was
um,
determined that no one in the street was going to tell my children who they were. I was going
no,
to tell them who they were. And I
I
wanted
love
them to
it.
be assured about who they were. And they were going to get it from me. Nobody
Yeah,
was going to tell them your mother was, on drugs or your dad was this. I was going to tell them everything they needed to know. And that
love it.
gave them peace.
Yes, 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 yes. So I know you said you told when you told your husband, you told Kevin about adoption. I think what is nice, it seems like y'all was in alignment. So
Yeah.
when you said to him, let's do you want to adopt? He said yes right away. You said yes, Kevin. You was good.
Yeah, because I mean, I know I couldn't have children, so yes, I was gung ho.
Nice.
Yes, I was gung ho for it because I wanted to have kids and I wanted to have kids of my own. So no, and I know that what we both went through. It's like you're never too old, but and everybody needs love.
Yes.
Everybody needs love, So I figured, Corinne and Kareem was at the right time, and God saw fit that it was time for us to go to the next level.
And they carry his last name, so he was happy. They carry his last name. He was good.
And y'all doing an amazing job. And right,
Thank
Kareem
you.
has graduated from high
Woo,
school.
girl.
Oh, wow, beautiful, excellent, excellent job with that.
Thank you.
I'm sure y'all are proud of yourselves, and I know y'all, so I'm proud of you too. I think it's just, it's a beautiful thing. So when did Corinne tell you that she wanted to write this book?
She at one time told me when she was 8, Mom, I think I want to write a book. But she's 8. So I said,
Right,
all right, baby. I gave her a pen and pad. She drew some little pictures and then she went outside and rode a bike. So
right.
we didn't think nothing else of it. Yeah. But when we got stuck in the house for COVID, when it first hit, and they
Mm.
had to work from home and I had to work from home, we had a lot of quality time together. She said, Mom, I really want to write this book. So I said, okay, if you really do. So once again, I did that. Let me give you the pad and the pen and start writing. Well,
Right.
she did start writing. And the first page, she said, what do you think of this? And I just welled up with tears and
Oh,
said, you thought of this all by yourself? And she said, yeah, I was sitting right across from me. She sat across from me and for hours and would write like I'm working. And she would write and write more. And then I said, this is really good, Corinne. Why don't you do some pictures? And the next thing I know, she did a book cover. And she said, what do you think? And I thought, oh my gosh, that's the book cover? She did it
mhm.
all by herself. I was just as surprised as everybody else. Yeah.
It is amazing work, right? And just for everybody out there, 14 years old, wrote this book, her first book, did the artwork for the book. And
Yes.
I think it's absolutely beautiful. I love the fact that it is a pregnant woman,
Yeah.
and in her belly she has a queen,
Yeah.
right? She has her crown
Yes,
on,
she does.
and it's amazing. It's like, sometimes children that don't have a forever home, right, that are waiting for adoption, they just feel a sense of like loss and
They,
loneliness,
they do.
right? Because it's like, well, why doesn't my biological parents want me?
Mhm.
Why can't I get adopted into any home? And
Right.
I think too, from everything that I've read about adoption, it seems like as the child gets older, um, it's like a less likely chance of them being adopted.
That's the sad
So
part.
That's the sad part, right? So when I was reading, I had to stop and then come back and read some more information again, because as I read, it's like, most of them have this idea in their head because this is what plays out for them. Is
Mhm.
at a certain age, nobody is going to want them, right?
Yeah.
So and that's how you said they just age out in the
Yeah.
system, and they never get an opportunity to know what it's like to be a part of a family and to sit at a dinner table with a family, or to hear a mom and dad say, I love you.
Yeah.
So hopefully people that are watching that are considering adoption, or that considered adoption, or, maybe they never even thought about it, but you have the ability, the space, and the time, not only consider adoption, but maybe consider adopting an older child, right?
Mhm.
Um, and there's this fallacy, I'll say it's a part fallacy, because listen, we all, no matter, even if you have your parents, we still got issues, some of us, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but there's a fallacy that all of the children that are waiting to be adopted have some type of issues that you're not going to be able to handle or resolve. And I think that if you just pray on it, you speak
Mhm.
to God,
Yeah.
and you just see and give it an opportunity and a try.
Yeah.
And then if you are not one that maybe you feel you can adopt, then lend some time to these programs, um, donate some money to these
Yeah.
programs.
Yes.
The babies that are in the hospital, because I did pediatrics for a long time in the hospital, so I know about
Mhm.
when the babies are addicted to drugs. Um, they have cuddlers in the hospital. I don't know how they can do with volunteers now because of COVID,
Right.
but we had a lot of people that just came and volunteered to hold the babies.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
because
sweet.
isn't that sweet? Because what happens is it's so many it's but so many workers, and when you working, you got to go from one baby to another. You got to
Mhm.
feed the baby, put the baby down. They would have volunteers that just came and would hold the babies, and that's
Oh.
it. Yeah, because and that's there's a whole thing now with that. They call it the skin to skin now. They do it with the mom,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's the same concept. So what happens to these babies that, they can't have that opportunity? They need someone to hold them.
Yeah.
So it's so many ways that you can give and help out in this
Yes.
area,
Yes.
even if you're not ready to adopt and you can't
Mhm.
feel yourself committing to that, or you just don't have the room, or,
Right.
whatever.
Or the time or
All the
anything.
time, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then with y'all two as a couple, I know we breeze through it, but I'm sure the process of waiting for this adoption to go through and doing the paperwork in the classes and them coming to check your home.
Mhm.
So the day that you said it takes a little bit over a year, tell us about when you actually got the paperwork and it was done. It was a done deal. Like the adoption is finalized. What did that day feel like?
Oh gosh, they go to court and then they'll call you, or the worker will come by your house to see. I need to see you. We at court today, and I come in and say, well, the judge finalized it and said that you will be able to adopt this child. The parental rights are completely terminated, and the adoption date will be on. And they tell you the adoption date. And in
Oh wow.
between, you go see an attorney. You have to go see the attorney. They take all your information. The agency paid the attorney, and they put all together the paperwork, what your child's name was and what the child's name it will be now. And then you have a court date. The moment that judge hits that gavel and names your child the name you gave them,
Right.
girl, I could cry about it now. It is so, it's overwhelmingly wonderful. It's just,
Wow.
try not to cry.
Beautiful. I know it's okay. You
So,
got me. You got me tearing up here. Yeah.
it's so
Wow.
beautiful. It can't get any better than that.
Mm.
After all the child's been through and all the hard work and effort you put into having them as yours, and then the judge hits that gavel and names that child. This child will now be called Corinne Elise Scott, and hit that gavel. I
That's
scream.
good. Ah.
I scream.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And do at that point they issue a new birth certificate?
Gets a new birth certificate. And you know what that birth certificate says?
What?
Me and Kevin.
Oh,
Like we were there. Like we were there. Like I went through all the
Wow.
labor. So that's how some children that adopted a parent never has to tell. The birth certificate actually gives the time the child was born, really,
Really?
the weight of it gives all that information, but it puts me with my maiden name and him as the father with his full name. They put it just like everybody else's birth certificate.
Wow. That's interesting.
Nobody else's
Yeah.
name is on it. Me and Kevin's are on Corinne and Kareem's birth certificates.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. So
I
that's
know.
nice.
It
That's
was a
nice
little
to know.
shocking to see. When you see it, you're thinking, wow, they kind of just wiped out their whole life and gave them a whole new life with us.
Right. And a
Yeah.
brand new start.
And a brand new start.
And a
Yep.
brand new start. All
Yeah.
right. That's a beautiful story. I didn't know that. Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know how it
Yeah.
worked. Okay.
Yep.
That's interesting. So do they put the original hospital and everything? They
Yes.
just change all
They
wow.
just changed the name of the mother and father. They put
Okay.
Kevin. They put the time they were born, the hospital. So I evidently had Kareem in Trenton, and I went to Elizabeth to have Corinne. That's where I was. If anybody was looking,
And we're sticking to it. We're sticking to
that
it. Wow. Okay, that is beautiful. I love this story. And so as you went on throughout the years, and I'm sure y'all just blended and it took times, but y'all had the patience and you got through it. And
Yeah.
I'm sure after a while now, did you ever, be a softie as a parent? Because you thought in your head, like, they've been through so much or whatever. Or did you roll right in and say, nope, we doing this. These are kids. We going, that's it.
No,
Well, the only one Corinne, we weren't that way with. Well, we spoiled both. I'm one of the mothers that spoiled kids anyway. I'm sorry. I'm
Right,
guilty as charged. I'm spoiling the kids, whether you came from me or not. You're mine. I love you.
right.
It doesn't matter. Kareem, we were more guarded with because he came from an abusive situation. So we didn't run right in and lay hands to him the way we grew up.
Right.
But we did discipline both of them right away. We never allowed them any leeway because they were adopted. You had to be disciplined, period.
Okay.
So, but we didn't discipline him in a way that, the way we grew up, where parents would speculate, because he came from an abusive situation.
Yeah.
Kareem was always scary from the start, but you didn't ever have to put your hands on her. She was scary from the start. She wasn't no trouble.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So if we want to bring Corinne in a little bit and have her talk a little bit about her book and her experience. Is she ready? Is she okay? She ready?
Yeah.
Don't go too far, Kevin.
all right, I won't.
All right, I'm put on my glasses here so I can just make sure I look at the book as we come in. Hi, gorgeous. Oh, look at you have your book with you. Looking beautiful.
Thank
You're
you.
your mom. You're welcome. First of all, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for your bravery in writing this book. You're going to help a lot of people. Okay, I'm going to put all the information. Oh, we got to tell everybody that they can get the book currently being sold on Amazon for $9.99. I will put everything in the description. And I am going to give away one of your books today to one of our viewers. So we'll figure out which viewer we're going to give it to. Tell me, how did you come up with your title?
Okay, so it wasn't that hard actually. I think I only had one other name that came to mind. I don't remember what it was, but I had this one and it came to mind, and I was thinking about what happened to me and the situation I was in, and I was like, maybe I should pick from this because I'm no longer a part of that. So I thought about Morphine, and I'm just like, right now I'm in a state where I feel like Majesty. So it kind of went together. So yeah.
Beautiful. I love the name of your book. I love how you wrote the story of a little brown baby. And your artwork is phenomenal. It's
Thank you.
absolutely amazing. When I first saw your book, I was like, well, where did she buy that picture from? I wonder who did her thing. It's absolutely beautiful. And what made you think of doing the cover this way? Like, I'm gonna show everybody just really quickly. Like, what made you think of that cover?
So I was just sketching one day, and I was thinking, like, you see how you see how I don't know if you can see. You see how
Yeah.
her arms are down.
Yes.
So when I think of a pregnant woman, I usually think about her holding her stomach because she's proud to have that baby. So yes, and this woman does not have her hands anywhere touching her stomach, so it's like she's not proud to be pregnant, and she doesn't realize what she has in her is a gift from God. And so I thought I should make myself with a crown, because that's how I'm feeling, the Majesty part, that's where it comes from.
Oh, this is beautiful, your story about that couple. Oh my God, look at you. 14 guys, and look at a genius at 14. So I love it because and we'll touch on this lightly, because everybody goes through their different things. But yes, if you're thinking about a mom who's pregnant, they're usually proud and happy, and you're right, holding their belly. But if I'm ingesting stuff that's not good for my baby and my gift that's inside of me, maybe at the time, whatever I'm going through, I didn't even realize the gift and the blessing I had within me. But I love the way that baby inside, no matter what, God was covering you, and you're a queen, you're a princess, and you put your crown on your head. Yes. I love it. And I also love, like I said, I love the story of the little brown baby, right? Because in this world, sometimes as a brown person, right, we go through a lot. And you went through an extra lot. You're a brown baby, but not only you're a brown baby, but you was born addicted to drugs. And you're here to tell many people that maybe your story began here, but that's not where it has to end.
Yes.
Yes. And I love it. Beautiful. So I love that you wrote this, and you illustrated it yourself.
Yes.
And I told you, you got a future ahead of you. Beautiful. Yes. So you have a dedication in here. If you don't mind, read your dedication to us.
Okay. It says, this book is dedicated to children who feel isolated or abandoned because of the way they came into this world. From Morphine to Majesty is here to let you know you are not alone. In every bad situation, there's a good. Grab that good, hold on to it, and be the best you could possibly be with it. Love, Corinne.
All right. And what's this AKA here?
AKA Nova Ardora. Nova Ardora is my little my little tagline. So I do own that brand, and I want to start putting my books under that instead of my own name. So I do have Nova Ardora as my my brand name. So all my books will go under that when I get more.
Okay. Yes. As you continue to write, you'll change it to your AKA there. I love it. And I love your dedication, right? Because there are a lot of people out there that were adopted, and they do feel isolated. They do feel abandoned. They build these stories up in their head about their biological parents, and why they couldn't be with them. But you writing this and letting them know that that's you're not isolated, you're not abandoned. There are some babies out there and teenagers that have yet to be adopted. If there's anything you can say to them, what do you think you might say?
I would say don't lose hope. That's the main thing. Do not lose hope. Keep your faith in God. That's what I think. I think if you think something's impossible, that's when God has a chance to make it possible. So, yeah, I would say.
Look at what Sharon, I'm sending Mr. Christian over to you. You over there raising greatness? You hear the words coming out of her mouth at 14?
She throws me off too.
God, beautiful. I love that message to them. And people need to hear that, like, don't give up.
Yeah.
Look at you, Missy. I love it. All right.
Yeah.
So your mom told you your story, and she started to tell you your story when you were very young.
Yes.
From your mindset, when did you think you really understood that you were adopted and what it meant?
Probably around 6 or 7. That's when I really started to understand. And I would ask my mom multiple times, like before bed. I would ask, like, can you share my adoption story again? I would ask for that story time all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember asking her, like, can you just like tell me the story? So I know the story up in the back of my hand because I asked for it every night, and she had the patience and she told me it every single night.
Oh.
Yeah, so it definitely stuck. And then, like she said, around 8 years old, I was like, I want to write a book on this, and that was God, because I'm 8 years old. Like, I was outside every day, and like she said, I wrote down some words and some pictures, and then I went outside to ride my bike, and I probably didn't think about it ever again. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Corinne, believe it or not, you look like your mom. Right there. Look at y'all, beautiful. And so I think it's great to, like, your mom, she's fortunate because, like I said, when I was reading stories about adoption, many families, they're like, I didn't know when to tell them. They just didn't know when. It's not an easy thing to do, and thank God your mom just had the insight to just start telling you early on. And I truly believe it has a lot to do with how comfortable you are today in it, and how you just feel so loved, and you just embrace it.
Yeah.
You are the face of, like, adoption going well. Just love and kindness. I love it. But yes, thank you for that. So you talk a little bit about, what happened in the hospital with the tubes, your immune system, everything. And I'm sure that, a lot of that came from your mom, just telling you the different stories. I love here, we're going to show again the illustration of your special bunny there. So tell us about the bunny, and I know you still have it. Tell us a little something about your bunny.
This rabbit, it's been everywhere with me. I remember I used to memorize the prayer it told me to memorize it. And
so wait, I got confused. You can press it and it says a prayer?
Yes. It says a prayer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you press it, it says a prayer. Yeah.
So, Corinne, what's the prayer? You have to tell me.
Okay. So it says, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. May angels watch me through the night. May God keep me in his blessed sight. Amen.
Amen. Yes. And a nurse gave that to her, right, Sharon?
Yes.
Well, God bless that nurse. Look at her.
Yes. Yeah.
Wherever she's at, I hope she's living a blessed and beautiful life.
So do I.
That was very nice.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at first when you said it said a prayer. It says an astral prayer. That's beautiful. So we still have Bunny to this day.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is Bunny in good shape? Is Bunny deep down?
Been 15 years. Everywhere.
Bunny went everywhere. Poor Bunny.
Bunny has traveled the world.
Bunny has traveled the world.
Do I dare ask, does Bunny smell okay?
We may need a wash, but yeah.
Bunny's not white anymore either. Bunny's a little brownish.
Give Bunny some Febreze. Bunny will be okay. So you have in here this interpretation, and I'm skipping pages or whatever because we want everybody to purchase the book, okay? And listen, guys, purchase $9.99. Listen, I throw 9.99 away every day, easy. Once you go to these little Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, you're out $10 so easy. So you'll be spending 9.99 to support a young lady who in a few years be off to college. Buy her book and help towards her college fund. But besides that, it's the beautiful, beautiful story. And like I said, she illustrated these pictures in the book herself. You got a talent, girlfriend. They're beautiful. I love it. Yes. So the couple, your mom went through the long process of getting you, and that tells you too, like, right then and there, you're really loved. Like, everybody couldn't withstand, this process and the classes that they have to go through and the scrutiny. Just out of curiosity, Sharon, why do they have to measure the windows?
I didn't understand it either. They check the temperature of the water in your house. They make sure the windows are not too high or not, in case the kids if there's ever an evacuation plan, I guess. But they scrutinized me. I did tell them when DCP&P did this, I said, so you're scrutinizing me and checking the measurement of my windows. But the person that gave birth to the child, what are we doing with that when they get a second chance to possibly come back into her life? You're not scrutinizing them. Why are you scrutinizing the person that voluntarily wants these children?
Right.
You shouldn't do these things. You're scaring people off.
You scaring people off. But I'm saying with the windows though, there's construction standards and everything. What can you do about a window?
Exactly. I can't change it anyway. If you think it's too low, you think it's too high. I can't do anything anyway. It won't make a difference. So I measure it. Yeah.
Yes. So they said you were given information about Corinne and pictures. So that they gave you pictures, Sharon?
No.
Oh, they didn't. Okay.
They just brought it to me.
Oh, they just brought it to me.
Oh, the pictures. Oh, you're right. There was a I'm sorry. I completely forgot. I'm getting my kids.
You given one?
Yeah, I was given a picture. I'm sorry. I'm getting my kids twisted. 2 adoptions. I gotta remember.
She got her book. Nan said she got her book.
She did. Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nan.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes,
they did. There was a picture. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she was so little. She was so little time.
8, because you said at 2 months she was 8 pounds?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Do you know how many pounds she was born?
I'd have to look at the birth certificate again. I want to say she might have been close to 5.
Okay, yeah. So she was preemie. She was born early.
Preemie. She was a preemie, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. And so, Corinne, I read in your book that I guess prior to you writing the book, your friends didn't know you were adopted.
No.
So the big surprise was when they got your book.
Yes.
They found out. How did that go? Tell me a little bit about that.
Some, like, my closest friends knew, and I was only like 1 or 2 at the time, and they knew. But some friends didn't, and they were like, Corinne, what? You were adopted? And I'm just like, yeah, like, surprised. Like, I didn't really know what to say. But they just were asking questions, and I'm more than like happy to answer questions. So it didn't bother me or anything, but they were just so curious. And I like to spread the word about adoption. I really enjoy spreading the good news about it. So it didn't faze me. I like talking about it. And they took it well. They were excited for me. They didn't know till the book came out, and they were like, why didn't you tell me? And I'm just like, I don't know, but now you do know. So
I was nervous. As a mother, as somebody who's been a teenage girl, I wasn't sharing my information as a teenage girl. Kids would take it and run with it and tell terrible things. So I was really nervous when she said, Mom, I want to tell it all. And I'm thinking, everything? You want to keep a little bit to us?
I'm glad I did not keep everything in, because there are people who could relate to something.
Yeah.
What if I kept in information that someone else could relate to? And now that I didn't, and it's out there, someone else can relate to it. So I'm glad I didn't keep it in.
She has a favorite teacher at the middle school when she was in middle school. She loved this teacher, and he helped her with some of her writing skills. And he didn't know she was adopted. He came and said, Sharon, I never knew Corinne was adopted. And I said, yeah, I didn't really share it like that with
Right.
everyone. And then he shared that he was adopted also. I
Wow.
couldn't believe it. It was her favorite teacher and they had connected. But he said, I would have never known that's the reason we had that
Yeah, they had that
kindred spirit.
connection. Yeah.
And
Yes.
he said, that's why I liked her so much. And that's probably why she liked him so much.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like a very strict teacher. And not a lot of kids like,
My kids don't like him.
yeah, he wasn't their favorite teacher, but for some reason, like he was my favorite teacher. I was excited for his class. He was my language arts teacher, and he was like really challenging. So he was something different, and I like different. And yeah, everyone was like, "Why do you like him so much?" And I'm just like, I don't know. I just like the class.
He was adopted.
Yeah, so I guess that connection was made.
Oh, it was.
I worked with him for 6 years and never knew he was adopted until she wrote that book.
You see, so you inspired an adult to like, release his truth too, right?
He did.
That's beautiful, yeah. And I think too, I don't think that it was necessary to go around and tell everybody, oh yeah, that's my daughter, but she's adopted. That's your daughter. That's your daughter.
Right. That's
right. And
that's
like
my
the birth
child.
certificate said, and the birth certificate says, that's your daughter, right?
That's my baby.
Right. Yeah. She is so loved. They had no idea you didn't give birth to her. Yes. Yeah. Nancy wrote in the comments. So yes. So that was nice. So your friends got a nice little surprise. Now they know something different about you. And it's great that you are an author. So in your book, you talk about after your adoption and how you battled like a little sickness and with your immune system. But I think your mom said it, and I think you said it also, that love and the belief in God can conquer everything, right? And just a beautiful smile. I can feel your energy through the screen here. You don't know Corinne, but I knew your mother from when she got you. We was at her wedding, like in our mind too. We know, right? But we never seen you as adopted, because I swear with everything, you look like your mom. I say this to her all the time. And Kareem looks like your dad. So it doesn't, it doesn't, you lose that thought in your head. And also because your parents are beautiful people.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
they just really are. So I love the way you threw in here your pictures, some family pictures there, which you love. And let me tell you, you're not going to notice this picture right here.
Yep.
That picture is from Christian's Kristen, isn't it?
Back in my skinny days.
And it's such a beautiful picture, like all of your pictures in here. So let's talk about grandmas.
Okay.
Let's talk about grandmas, because I know you got a on the last page here. It says, "Thank you to the guardian angel who watches over me, Grandma. I love and miss you every day."
Yes, that's my mother's mom. She passed away 2 years ago, and we miss her a lot. And she was definitely like the best friend. I miss her so much. So yeah.
And you got a nice and she's definitely your guardian angel.
Yes.
And you put a nice dedication to her in your book. And I know she's so very proud of you and watching over you right now. And again, with this picture here, did you draw that also?
Yes, I did.
Let's look at you. Look at this, everyone. Let me see. Let me put this right there. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. It's so much about this book that I love. Another piece, I just want to make sure I get to it. Of course, everyone, please get the book. But I love this page also. Let me make sure I got it there.
Yes.
You are loved. And so when you wrote that there, tell us about, what made you write that piece right there.
Okay, so you are loved. I feel like if anything, a person is always loved. It may not be by a person or a parent, but that's the one person who will always love you through anything and everything. And that always stuck to me. I'm just like, wow, like there's already a person out here who has unconditional love for me, and that's God. And I always thought about that, like that is so cool, and I hope everyone knows that. So yeah.
And I hope everyone knows it also. That was a nice thing to put in there and a nice reminder to everybody, right? Because I think sometimes, even, it's not just about adoption, it's just people in general, right?
Yes.
Sometimes they're just feeling lonely and they're ready to give up, or they just have so much sadness and they think they have nobody because, they don't have friends or no one to talk to, or maybe sometimes people are tired of hearing their story or hearing from them, but it's always a person out there, no matter what, that is always in your corner and that will always forgive you and that will never judge you, and that's God. So you are
Yes.
loved, right? So
Right.
there you are. And that's a good thing for all of the children waiting for a forever home, right?
Yes.
Um, you know, the lie sometimes we tell ourselves is, this is happening to us because no one loves us. But the truth is you are loved, right? And so I love that there. I love your little illustration there.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything else in your book that you would like to point out, that you would like to say to us, that you want the people to know?
Um, the thank you. I'm at the hey reader part. I like to have conversations with people, and I know that this is a book, so it's more like monologue instead of dialogue. But I just wanted to relate to a person. I wanted to get deep, and I wanted a person to know, like, you are not alone. Like, this is not just a battle you're fighting by yourself. And I even put an email at the bottom in case someone reads this and wants to talk to me, because I'm very open to talk to anyone. I don't mind talking. So, yes, I was just explaining to them also how if you were adopted, don't feel like you're not a part of that family. Blood is not does not make family family. It's love that makes family family. And I definitely
Mm,
learned that being adopted, that being related to someone by blood doesn't make a connection. It's love that makes that connection. So I wanted to throw that in there in hopes that someone will read that and understand, like, you do not have to be blood related to be family.
I love it.
So
Look at you. And that is so true, right? Because you can love your friends and
mhm,
you're not blood related, right?
mhm,
And you were chosen by this wonderful family. And we can tell by just the words that are coming out your mouth. They are doing a phenomenal job. I feel it. I feel it through the screen. You and your mom. So what would you like to say to your mom? Oh, Nan is giving the heart emojis.
Don't make me
Yeah,
cry.
I know, right? What would you like to say to your mom and dad?
just thank you. Thank you is the
Yes.
main thing. Don't
Yes.
cry.
Yes.
It's thank you. Because
Yes.
without you guys, like, my living situation would be different. I don't think I would be able to fulfill the purpose or the what
Yeah.
God has for my life. Like, I really do not think, if it was not for these people, like, none of this would have happened. So I'm really, really grateful. And I also learned that I'm the only one of my biological mother's kids that got put up for adoption. So in me, I could have took that as a bad thing, like, oh, like, you guys gave me up, but everyone else can stay. But no, I took that and I'm like, thank you to my mom and dad who took me out of a situation where I couldn't be a help to anyone. I feel like my will would not have been, well, God's will would not have been fulfilled if it wasn't for these people. So I'm
Yes.
really grateful.
All right. So beautiful. I caught that. I don't know, I want you to know I caught what you said, which I think a lot of people struggle with too. As I was reading about adoption, it was like, well, why did my mom and dad keep the other three or the other two, and I was the one giving up? And you see that as a gift. Girlfriend, you are amazing,
Thank you
amazing.
so
Yes.
much.
And I really feel like your story is going to help so many people because you're giving them the positive side of it, right? I
Yes.
have this thing. It's called P. Oh, Nan is crying. Y'all gonna kill us on me.
Love you.
You know
See,
me in there crying.
yes, yes, yes. You know, I have this thing where I say P as in Peter, M as in Mary, A, right? Positive mental attitude.
Yeah.
Instead of NMA, which is negative mental attitude.
Mm-hmm.
You have a very positive mental attitude.
Thank you.
There is Tony Robbins is a motivational speaker, and he always says that you will live a blessed life if you always think of things of not happening to you, but happening for you.
Yes.
Every word that came out your mouth is like this adoption happened for you and not to you.
Yes.
Um, you just touch my soul. You are just so amazing. You got a beautiful smile. You're
Thank
beautiful
you.
inside and out,
Yes.
Thank you.
inside and out. And again, like this, just the cover of this book um, just can save so many people because it's a queen. It was a queen in there,
Yes.
regardless of the situation, right? You
Yes.
know, I think they said with diamonds, like you got to bang through stuff or whatever. I don't want to get the thing wrong to get it, but
Yeah,
it's a
Yes.
precious
yes,
stone. And
yes,
here it was, it didn't matter what environment you were in your biological mother's belly, you still came out a gem. You still came out a princess and you're grown into a queen. So I know you're in high school now, right?
Yes.
That high school, we got a high school student in the building, an author. Okay. So what do you think you might want to be when you go and study in college?
I definitely want to study journalism when I get to college, just so I can learn the foundations of writing. So I learned how to take writing strategies and stuff that comes from my heart and be able to put it correctly on paper so people fully understand what I'm trying to say. And I think I want to study something that has to do with art so I could keep up with doing my own artwork for books because I know it is a cheaper option and I know exactly what I want when it comes to the book. So yeah, it's just easier.
Well, let me say, for you, my blessing and my prayer for you is that you continue to write books. I also, like I told your mom, you have this art thing, girlfriend. You are phenomenal. And I'm not just
Yeah.
saying that. Like really, really good work. Um, I hope Bunny stays with you forever.
Yeah.
I was thinking about
We
you.
may have to get Bunny stitched up or something, but you know, we gotta keep Bunny and that story in and of itself. And I swear to you, I wish we could find that nurse.
I
Um,
wish we could too. I know.
oh
Just
my
to
God.
thank her. She was a hero back
Yes,
then.
yes, yes.
15, she was a hero back
Um, yeah, because I couldn't even imagine like where did she get this bunny from to get a prayer in it?
then. A prayer
Um,
and a bunny. I don't know where she got that bunny.
yeah, I
But
don't
prayed
know,
for
but I
her.
mean,
Did she have
I
her
love
own
your
church?
story.
I don't know. That was the doctor.
Oh,
Hmm?
She was asking me about the nurse, and I just told her I don't know who that nurse was. I never got any details
Yeah.
of that. They don't tell you
yeah.
that part.
Yeah, but God bless her is all I can
Yeah,
say.
God
I
bless
mean,
her. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So she sent you off with you know, with a gift in and of itself. She was making sure
Yeah.
you were covered. She was making sure you were gonna be covered no
Yeah.
matter where you went or what happened. And blessings to her. And I love how you have your picture here on the back of the book. How did you select your picture for the back there? It's beautiful.
Thank you. Well, being 14, I had a whole different picture in mind.
Oh, you did?
Like, I had a selfie going
She had
on.
a
I was
selfie.
it was good lighting. It wasn't professional at all. I had a selfie going on, good lighting, everything. And then my mom and my cousin, I'll get to at the end of thank yous, I'll talk about that in a minute. But my mom was like, no, like you need to look professional because one day, what if people, big people are gonna see this. Like, you don't want to have a
Right.
selfie as your picture. So I took that into consideration. That's where we got this one from.
Nice, nice. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it.
Thank you
And
so much.
you wrote on the back, meet the author. I love that too. And like I said, but you never told me where did this name come from? The name that the rest of your books are going to be under. Where did you get that
Nova
name from?
door. Okay, so Nova means new, and Ardor means like a desire for something, like a new desire. And I was like, I have a new desire to learn new things about adoption and God, and it just clashed together. And I was like, Nova Ardor, and it went together. So I was really excited when I came
Uh,
up with it. Yeah,
Beautiful. I
thank you.
love it. So you do, like you said, you have a page here with some thank yous. Tell us about the thank you page. She said, I'm sure yourself. Mia said, I'm sure your selfie was nice. It probably was, but mom is right. We needed a professional picture there. Professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell us about your thank you, and you can read your thank you
Okay.
on that you have on the back there.
Okay, so I'll read through it and then I'll explain it. So
Okay.
it says, thank you to my mom and dad. Thank you for seeing me as a prized possession rather than just a baby born addicted to drugs. The greatness you both see in me, I'm starting to see in myself. I love you. And then it says, thank you to all of the family, friends, and church family members that have helped me through my journey thus far. And then it says, special thank you to my cousin I see who inspired me to write my story. And then
Beautiful.
you. Yes.
Yes, and thank you, Icy, for inspiring her to write your story and putting it down to paper and pen. As you were writing, Corinne, did you how did you feel when you was doing the writing process?
It was many, many days of like talking to God. That was a really big priority because I wanted, in every single prayer I said to God, I was just like, help me write down words where I could speak to these people where it will help them. Because I never wrote,
Mm,
this book isn't for me. I just wanted to be able to relate to someone who could know that they're not alone in the situation that they're going through. So I was just like, God, like, please, like, talk to me, to speak through me into these people. Like, I just want them to know everything is going to be okay. And I think he did that. I'm hoping.
you did. You absolutely, you really did. I mean, I felt okay, and I didn't even go through this situation. Um, I think it is nice. The biggest part I think that I love is to let people know that you are loved.
Yeah,
And because I really feel that they just feel that they're not loved, and they go through so much and they feel a lot of loneliness,
yeah,
and you're there wondering why me. um but now you gave, and listen, now the connection between you and that teacher you love so much.
Yeah.
yes,
Who would have thought? Who would
I
have
know.
known? Right? And
Yeah,
the connection was that he was adopted also.
yeah,
um So it's a book that talks about a journey, a beautiful love story where you have a couple that gave their heart to two children that needed them, and stood the test of time and went through the
yeah.
process. And here we are today. And the world can be very proud. I mean, and God is proud because, like I said, you are an absolute sweetheart. I
Thank
truly and
you.
love and enjoyed talking to you.
Thank
So
you.
yes, you're welcome. So and your brother who didn't get an opportunity to speak with us today, but that's okay. So as you and your brother, just tell us a little bit about you and your brother's relationship. Knowing that y'all was kind of in this together.
What many siblings do we do? Like a lot.
Like
But
most siblings do.
yeah, sometimes that really is my best friend though. Even though he does get on my nerves, I could really, like, he is my best friend. I complain to him, he complains to me, and it's pretty cool because his friend and my friend are brother and sister also, and their father's a pastor and their mother is she's first lady, and their parents are best friends with my parents. So it's always like all of us in one big group. So it's really cool how we had parents who love the Lord. We all have our own little special talents. So like my brother, he's really into sports, and he could tell you who won a game in like 2003. Like he could tell you anything. His friend, he's really good at basketball. Then my friend Jordan, she's really into instruments. She could play any instrument.
I
Wow.
have to interrupt to say she gave a compliment to her brother, who
Ah!
she has shut up to every single day.
Okay.
I need to take this and replay it. She gave a huge compliment. You
You
fast.
gotta show him later, Sharon. You gotta show him later. Wow.
That's the only time you'll hear it. So I'll save it.
Oh, but you know what I think is so cute? So they're best friends, a brother and sister,
Yeah.
and then y'all are good friends with their parents. Like that is super cute. So it's the six of y'all. That's another story right there in and of
Yes,
itself.
it is.
But can
Yeah.
I squeeze in another thing? In part of her journey and her church family and her friends, your family was
Yes.
there from her
Through it
birth
all.
through it all. And her and Christian were right there, neck and neck, running around Nan's
Tell her
house.
I said hey.
Tell Chrissy said, hey.
Turning 16 this year. I'm like,
Yes,
where
I know,
does
girl. I
time
know. I remember
go?
when you were pregnant with him. I remember me and Nan and Lisa running your baby shower because you couldn't be there.
I couldn't be there.
You had the baby.
The mother that missed her own baby shower.
But your family has been huge, a huge part of our lives, and we will always. That will never change. That will not. COVID's on its way out the door, so I'm not worried about. We can get together real good soon too. But you guys have been a huge part of the journey too. So that you're part of that journey that she's talking about that got her through many days. She was an itty bitty baby, and you guys were there.
Oh,
and I love your family for that. Hey,
Nan said, Sharon, stop crying.
She was crying with me. Just get the box of
yes,
tissues.
Get the box of tissues. Yes. It's a journey, and it's a story of just some heartbreak.
Yes.
But a heartbreak turned into a beautiful story of just love, patience, and just what can happen when you really trust God, right? Yes. Because you could have gave up. It was like, to go through the miscarriages, to go through the infertility. There's so many women out there that have that story, and some of them just say, they end the story there, but now we know, like, well, your doctor told you to, which is nice. It's like, have you thought about adoption?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So God bless your doctor too to say, listen, I'm not telling you to give up,
right?
But adoption is an option, right? And so God bless, this doctor for mentioning it to you. And then everything just happened to be in order because you said, the church had this agency.
Yeah.
What are the chances?
That was God. The whole thing was God. It was a setup. It was all God.
It was all God. Yes. And you stuck it and you went through the program. And you know what was God too? The fact that your husband, he didn't even hesitate. He was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's adopt. Let's adopt. And y'all have a cute story. Sharon, I did not know it was a setup. The date. That is a beautiful story.
And let me tell you, I'm like any other woman. I don't know why date ill. No. No. Thank you anyway.
And I didn't know he came to the play. Look at that.
Yeah, no, because everybody says they love God. Oh, I love God. Well, let's see if you really love God. Let's see. Come to church then. First
Come
day.
to church. Yes,
He's sitting
yes.
here, my mom's sitting there.
On the first day, I know he
First
really
day.
did. I know he was like, okay, I'm going to church, but now her mom there too.
On the opposite side of me.
But it turned out to be the best thing ever because here you are today, 19 years later, and it is not easy to stay together, for 19 years and just have such a beautiful home. Yeah, a beautiful home and a loving family and just well-adjusted children. Like you don't just roll over and that happens. Yeah. Lisa, wait, she mentioned Lee. Nan said Lisa said she was there also.
She said,
Yeah.
Yes. Tell her Corinne mentioned her name. She said, tell her listen. Tell her listen. Yes, Corinne did not forget about her.
Yeah.
So
the whole time.
Yeah.
Because so many people need to really hear your story. So our prayers tonight that your books just sell and sell and sell. Everyone, please, the books are being sold on Amazon.com, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put it in the description. And, I think I got it and I paid $10.24 with shipping. I have Prime or something like that. Either way, it's not a lot of money. Like you spend $10 in a day. It's a story you can share with your friends. You can share, with your family. It's an easy read. The illustrations are done by Corinne herself. She's 14, guys. Just the beauty of a young student at 14 years old to write a book. It's just a wonderful thing, especially because kids now, they're so busy with the social media, just doing other stuff. You took the time during the pandemic to write a book, to share your story with others. And it took a lot of bravery because a lot of your friends did not know until you put this book out, which is something else. There is, Karen, I'm going to talk to you. There's this case, this little shadow box. They sell it in Target. You got to get it and you got to put her book in there.
Okay.
And it's so cute. I'm going to text it to you.
Please.
But Corinne, I thoroughly enjoyed your book. It's so cute, so amazing. I love your story. And I love it even more after talking to you because you have such a beautiful heart and a beautiful soul. And I wish you all the best in high school. Praying that you find the time to write another book. You got to write it under your alias name there.
She did already. She's waiting for me to get it published now. She wrote it.
Oh, nice. What is the next book about?
It's about a little boy and
it's a children's book.
Yes, this one's a children's book because I know this one had a lot of like older words, like but I want little kids to be able to read and be like, oh, maybe like they relate to this and they could be able to read it by themselves. So it's about a little boy and his little journey through foster care. So.
That is absolutely beautiful. Well, when that book comes out, we will speak to you again. I will definitely purchase it and read it. I'm here for it. And did you do all the illustrations for that book too?
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
These are my favorite ones too.
And please tell Lisa, nobody's slighting her. She is her godmother.
Yes.
Yes, nobody's slighting you. You're the godmother, so you got you. Oh, I can't wait to see your children's book. This is great. This is amazing. So you're gonna have a whole catalog before you even I love it. I absolutely love it. And is that one going to be on Amazon also?
Yes.
Okay.
And she's working on a third book right now.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, she's got me. She keeps me busy. She forgot how old her mother is. She forgot. Like, girl,
then Sharon, we gotta talk. You gotta set up a whole book signing again
Ooh,
when the second one
okay.
come. We'll talk. We'll talk.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
gonna drag her godmother in, and we'll find a place.
And don't forget Nan. Don't forget my
Don't
girl
forget
Nan.
that. Yeah, we're gonna find a place. We will promote it, and you'll do a book
Thank
signing
you.
with both your books. And if the third one is out, then let's close this out. Bring hubby back into the frame here.
All right.
Do you want me to get out?
No.
Oh no, y'all all squeeze in. We'll close this out together with everybody.
All right.
So we get that in.
Yeah, get that in.
Let me move over.
Here we go. Now we go.
Miss Simon.
And where's that? This side. Oh, there he goes.
Wait. Put your face in there, Kevin. Put your face in there. Everybody, look at this beautiful family, the Scott family. Yes, we love them. They did a wonderful thing for the world out here. You see how well adjusted and beautiful their daughter Corinne is. They have a son, Corinne. He's absolutely amazing. Also, just graduated high school recently. They did a phenomenal job. I mean, you can just tell. I'm hoping you're feeling it through the screen like I am. Just how sweet and wonderful they are. Married 19 years, okay? And maybe we have to bring the couple back to just talk about marriage, because guys, you have to be in it to win it when you're going to stay together 19 years, okay? You cannot just bow out. You have to pray together in order to stay together, okay?
Yes.
And this couple just did an amazing job with Corinne and Corinne. They did a K thing here. Husband named Kevin, daughter named Corinne, and the son name is Corinne. So I'm gonna ask you, Kevin, as the man of the family, to take us out and let us end this in prayer. Say a prayer for us, and then we'll close out, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. I want to say something to my daughter before I close out.
You sure?
Yeah, Corinne, I thank God that you're part of our life. I think you was destined from birth to exceed for greatness in your life.
Thank you.
And I'll say this one last thing. I'm very overwhelmed for what God is doing for you. Because like I say this with an open heart, don't nobody know your story, so you give God all the glory.
Yes.
Yeah, so yes. So
that's beautiful.
Yes. So,
thank you, Kevin, for saying that.
So I'm gonna close us out in prayer. Father God, we want to thank you for this time, this evening, for this webcam together, Father God, what Sister Charlotte has put together, Father God. Bless her to continue to grow. Bless Corinne, Father God, in her books that's coming out. Thank you for the first book from Morphine to Majesty, and 2 other books that's coming out. Continue to bless her hands and bless her mind, Father God, that you give her the things to write in the book, Father God. And Father God, keep her throughout the night and bless the people that was on this meeting, Father God. They will purchase the book and be blessed by it, Father God, and be able to go out there and adopt and be blessed by God, Father God. We love you, we thank you, and we give you all the honor and glory for what you have done and what you're about to do for all of us. We love you, we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Cheryl,
yes.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you so much for having us. This was a blessing.
The pleasure was mine. And listen, I'm so excited for you, Miss Author there. I'm telling you, Sharon, we got to get this together. We got to do your book signing and put a blast out there. But let's get that second book out. Second book out. I will definitely get it. I got it, and I love your illustrations. And you listen. You know what? I'm lucky too that you came to me first before you're on NBC and ABC and all that. And when I see you on there, I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm gonna push this video out again. She was here.
Hey, Cheryl.
Yes.
You know, Corinne is also she draws very well. She writes very well. But she also got a song on her heart. She have a beautiful voice that sings to give God
you on full blast. Put you on full blast.
You got a triple threat over there. Exactly, right? And she's an artist. Okay, now we cannot close out until you sing a little something. I'm sorry.
No. She ain't gonna. That's you.
I'm sorry.
No, they're gonna do it right now. I'm just saying.
All right, I'm gonna let you slide, cause daddy. But you know that's what proud parents do. They gotta brag. I ain't mad at them. They gotta let the people know. But you know what, then, Corinne, this is what we gonna have to do when we do the book signing. You gonna have to be prepared to sing a little word. We gotta let the people know. We gotta let the people know. And listen, like as I stated, I'm telling you, when what's her name, Gail, Oprah friend, and all of them interviewed you, I'm gonna be like, she was here first. She was at the grave trial first. But listen, guys, I had a ball with y'all. But I want to thank you so much for sharing your story. I know it takes a lot. It was very brave of y'all. I really appreciate it. But once again, as we close out, everyone on Amazon.com for only $9.99. Get this book right here, From Morphine to Majesty, and illustrated by Corinne herself. I mean, she did the cover. She did some beautiful artwork inside. You get to see a little glimpse of her family as she was growing up. You know, she's still young. She's only 14. But as she was growing up from the years, she has some beautiful pictures in there of her family. I mean, I absolutely love it. And the thing is that this is for everyone out there. You have to know whether you're adopted or not. You're young, you're old, you're 2, you're 10, you're 20, you're 50. You are loved. Okay? So never feel alone. God is always with you and he loves you. And I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight for this live. You are officially a part of the Great Tribe. Make sure you subscribe and tune in whenever we go live. I love you guys. Listen,
love you too.
Before I end this, like you said, we're coming out of this whole COVID thing. We have to stop playing around. We all need to get together and have a little dinner together, even if it is potluck. Okay, right. I'm gonna bring some salad. I don't cook.
I like that.
We'll take it. Come on.
I love you guys. Love you for everything. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you. Bye.